Italy has formally withdrawn from the China's Belt and Road Initiative, and it is going to exit this initiative in the year 2024. In a similar case, Philippines is also set to exit this initiative in 2024. These developments have raised the concerns once again regarding the China's Belt and Road Initiative. So hello everyone, my name is Shweta, and today we're going to discuss that what are the concerns that India has with regard to BRI, looking at the current development across the European countries. We'll discuss India's position and the advantages and disadvantages because of that position, and how does India seek to move ahead with this particular initiative. So the points of discussion in this video, they will revolve around. First, we'll discuss what is the current issue, why the issue of BRI has come again in news. Then we'll discuss what does the Belt and Road Initiative means in itself. We'll look at the various developments that have been made under this particular initiative. We'll look at India's position or India's stance with respect to this particular initiative. We'll discuss the advantages and disadvantages that India faces because of India's position. We'll discuss the various steps that has been taken by India to secure its interest in view of this particular initiative. And we'll end the discussion with the help of a conclusion. So we'll begin this discussion first by discussing what is the current issue about. So Italy, it has formally withdrawn from China's Belt and Road Initiative, becoming the first G7 nation to do so. Italy joined the BRI project in 2019, and during that time, Italy became the first and so far the only major Western power to have joined this trade and investment program. The deal, it is automatically to be renewed in March 2024 unless Italy opts out of this deal by the end of this year. So Italy, it has formally communicated to Beijing beforehand that Italy is going to exit from this particular initiative of China. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, she has criticized the decision to join, calling it a serious mistake. Prior, on various occasions also, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, she has made criticizing statements against the China's Belt and Road Initiative. Italian Foreign Minister has also said that the membership has not produced the results that we were hoping for. The Foreign Minister even added that those countries which are not part of the Belt and Road Initiative, they have gained even more than Italy, who has been a member of Belt and Road Initiative. Because of such issues, Italy has made a formal withdrawal from China's BRI. Now we'll have a look at what does the Belt and Road Initiative mean. The Belt and Road Initiative, it's a global infrastructure development program. So such infrastructure projects are going to be undertaken under this initiative that will fuel the development of countries across the world. It has been adopted by the Chinese government in 2013. So it's an initiative of China to invest in more than 150 countries and the international organizations. The BRI initiative, it has officially also declared that all the countries are open to join the agreement, and even the international organizations and the regional organizations are also invited to join the Chinese initiative. This project, it has been a central component of Chinese President Xi Jinping's major country diplomacy strategy. Xi Jinping wants China to assume a greater leadership role in the global affairs in accordance with its rising power and status. So as China's power is increasing, China should take even more proactive role in the global affairs. The participating countries, they include almost 75% of the world's population and more than half of the world's GDP. So by looking at this data, you can imagine the scope and the expanse of this particular project. Looking at the scope and expanse of this project, we'll also discuss what does the word in itself means. In China, the word one belt and one road is even used for this particular initiative. But what does the belt and the road means? So the word belt, It's a short for the Silk Road Economic Belt. Now, what is this Silk Road Economic Belt? So, this is infrastructure projects that China wants to create to pass the transportation from the landlocked Central Asian region towards the famed historical routes that have been used before many centuries. So, this particular infrastructure that would facilitate the transportation of goods from China to the western side, it is known by the name of Silk Road Economic Belt. And the road, what does the road means in this word? So, it's a 21st century maritime Silk Road. The short for this has been used by the name of road. So, the one belt, one road, it has been an acronym for these two particular proposed projects by China. The 21st Maritime Silk Road, it wants to create such infrastructure or such connecting link between the Indo-Pacific region so that the areas of Southeast Asia to South Asia, the Middle East and the Africa, they get connected in such a way so that more and more trade links can be developed. So, we look at the huge scope of this particular project. Now, this project, it has been widely acclaimed by the countries across the world, and many of the participating countries have joined it. So, all these countries, counting about 151 countries by the 2023, has been part of China's BRI. In 2023, the new entrants have been Afghanistan, Jordan, and even Honduras. So, we see the expanse has been going on through continents. This is the wide popularity of the China's BRI project. If we look at the expanse and the developments that have been made by China in various continents, we can see in African side, right? The project Maputo Katumbe Bridge by Mozambique and the Churchill Ring Expressway project in Algeria. They have been the major projects of China in Africa. China sees the potential of rail and road links that could be created in Africa, and Africa forms a central component of China's BRI strategy. Apart from Africa, in Europe, if we look at this area, China has wanted to link the European Economic Union with the China's BRI. And the Russian president, Mr. Putin, he has also agreed that Russia favors the China's linkages with the Economic Union of Eurasia. Apart from it, in Central Asia, as this is a landlocked region, but it has been historically very important trade route. So, China has invested more than 136 billion US dollars in Central Asian region particularly. Apart from it, if we look at the South Asia region, Sri Lanka's Magampura Mahinda Rajapaksa port, it was one of the main projects in the South Asia that has been taken by China. And apart from it, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, that has been one of the most controversial as well as one of the most useful projects that China sees under the BRI project. To look more about the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, we'll understand this particular initiative even better. So, this is how China wants to create the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. It wants to connect the Kashgar in Xinjiang region in the far eastern side of China to the port of Gwadar of Pakistan. This is the link that China wants to create. Now, if you observe it carefully, this part of the project, it is going through the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, which is the Indian territory. Because of this, India has serious concerns about the CPEC project. It mainly is to view the transportation of energy resources from Middle Eastern countries to China. Now, what China wants to do is, the Middle Eastern countries could use the Gwadar port for transporting of the goods, and by the rail and the road links, the energy security, energy supplies, they can move to China. right? This is the main objective of this particular corridor because of the BRI. Then it also provides economic growth to Pakistan, right? And boost infrastructure development in Pakistan with the help of China. So looking at the two important players in this particular objective, this has been viewed with serious concerns in India. Now, while this has been the main contention regarding India's stance on BRI, we'll look at India's position in the perspective of Belt and Road Initiative. So, India and the BRI. India had always had reservations with respect to the BRI because of the sovereignty related issues, as CPEC, which is a major component of China's BRI, it is passing through the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, a disputed territory between India and Pakistan. So India consider it as a threat to its own sovereignty. And apart from it, the geopolitical implications of such project in the Indian Ocean. The CPEC, it also provides greater access to China in the Arabian Sea, right? And in the highly significant Indian Ocean region as well. So India has these tensions, these concerns regarding the BRI project. Apart from it, China has started expanding its footprints in the India's neighborhood through its investment in various ports. So it is seen that the various ports in the Maldives, in the Sri Lanka, so China has invested heavily around the ports which surround India. And the commercial ports, India fears that they can be even converted into the military ports. And these developments have troubled the Indian policymakers to a great length. So looking at the security issue also, this project is concerned because of India. And China's economic presence in India's neighborhood has undergone substantial expansion. So in particularly to India's neighborhood also, China's economic investment has grown to a greater length. Then many negative developments are also there in the bilateral initiatives related to the trade deficit, the border tensions, the trust deficit that we have with China. So because of that also, India's particular stance regarding to BRI has been affected. Then India has also argued that the BRI projects, they should respect the international norms, the rule of law and the financial sustainability. And China should not try to create the debt traps or environmental and social risk for the host countries. So India even criticizes China for the debt trap diplomacy that it is mainly focusing upon, the environmental and the social risk that can be created for the host countries. So we can see that India has been against the China's BRI project because of several concerns. But India's position, it has been even debated that because of India or because of the hard stance that India has taken with respect to BRI, is India losing out on any terms? So we'll look at the advantages and disadvantages of India joining or not joining the BRI project in some detail. So the advantages of joining BRI, those who advocate that India should join the BRI, so the arguments given by them are the opening of more links of trade, as various infrastructure projects have been undertaken by China under BRI. So it will also help facilitate the trade routes for India and for South Asian region on the large scale also. These trade routes would be helpful for increasing the trade prospect and reducing the other risk. Apart from it, the regional cooperation, as most of the countries across the India, most of the neighborhood is involved in such a project. So if India does not join this project, it can create problem because of the regional harmony that could be disturbed. So if India also join South Asian region, it will prosper at a great length. Apart from it, it is culturally also very significant. As the region of South Asia and the Southeast Asia also, they have strong cultural and historical roots. This project, it can also help India to enlarge its soft power diplomacy. So the advocates of joining the BRI, they argue that because of such advantages, India should join the BRI project. But as India has not joined this particular project, because of the many disadvantages that are also existing. So we look at the disadvantages if India joins the BRI project. First is the geostrategic and the political aims. The China's BRI projects, it's not only an economic project, but it has the geopolitical aims as well. It wants to contain India. We can see from China's instances, for example, the CPEC project, for example, encircling India on various ports, right? So it goes against India because of such aims by China. Then the lack of transparency. As many examples have now surfaced that the China, it follows the debt trap diplomacy, right? The China, it is going to advance its military aims in the disguise of the economic argument. So we have seen the lack of transparency, it would also harm India's interest. And then the security implications are also there. As the CPEC, it is passing through India's territory. As the other corridors, they are also harming the sensitive northeastern area of India, right, which China claims to be at their part as well. So India's security is also risk because of the BRI project. So because of such disadvantages that India may face because of joining the BRI project, India has decided to stay out of the BRI initiative. But because BRI has become a huge initiative across India's neighborhood and even across the various continents, India might lose out on the few merits of this project. But India has taken several initiatives to allay such concerns as well. So the steps that have been taken by India because of such disadvantages, the project Mosam, it has been the project under the Ministry of Culture to reconnect and re-establish the communication links between the countries of Indian Ocean and enhance their cultural values. So it's a soft power diplomacy that India has been employing to gain even more power in its neighborhood. Apart from it, the Sagarmala initiative, a port-led direct and indirect development with a focus on infrastructure and connectivity to enhance the capacity of major ports and also start their modernization process. So also to develop its ports to more connectivity, Sagarmala initiative has been started by Indian government. Apart from it, the Chabahar port, it has given access to India, to Iran, to Afghanistan, Central Asia, and even Europe, bypassing even Pakistan. So this is a great project because of India's interests, cutting down significantly the travel distance and time that India might face because of skipping from the China's BRI initiative. Apart from it, the naval ports, India has also tried to develop ports in the important Indian Ocean regions such as Madagascar, Seychelles and Mauritius. So India is also not bogging down because of China's infrastructure projects, and it is also taking several initiatives in various areas. Apart from it, the Indian Ocean Regional or RIM Association grouping, India has actively participated in it. Its first summit took place in 2017 in Jakarta, and India has consistently become an important partner in the Indian Ocean RIM Association. Apart from it, if we see that India has taken help of creating alliances. It has alliance with Japan, which is a like-minded country. Japan, it is to promote India's Act East policy, to augment the connectivity within India and between India and the other countries in the region as well, aimed at advancing the Asian industrial networks and the regional value chains. So Japan, which is a like-minded country, it has come forward to help India, and India and Japan are working in alliance for increasing the industrial networks across Asia and increasing the regional value chains. So these are the several steps that Indian government has taken to overcome the challenges that could be posed because of not joining the Belt and Road Initiative. So we have seen that India, it rightly looks at the situation from right prism and has taken several initiatives also to provide an alternative for China's Belt and Road Initiative. So by all this discussion, we can very rightly conclude that theoretically, if India's political and strategic concerns are met, BRI is a viable project, and India's other initiatives such as the BCIM corridor, the Bangladesh, China, India and Myanmar corridor, it can greatly help because of such dovetailing of the One Belt and the One Road initiative projects. Apart from it, the Asian Highway project also. So such kind of coherence can be built in several infrastructure projects only if India's political and strategic concerns are met. So as we can see, many of the India's neighborhood, they are also part of it, just except Bhutan. And India, it wants to increase connectivity with our neighborhood that would create a more prosperous South Asia in the whole. So it can also provide India a great help by joining the BRI. However, because of the several concerns, the bilateral relations that are with China, we have seen the hostility between the bilateral relations between India and China time and again. Then the deep mistrust and India's growing concerns over China's hegemonic intentions in South Asia and the Indo-Pacific region make it even more difficult or unlikely that India will ever consider joining this project. So it's a viable project if our political and strategic concerns are met, but in the current situation where the bilateral relations are hostile, a deep mistrust situation is there, and India, it has concerns regarding the practices that China has in the South Asian region or the hegemonic intentions of China in India's neighborhood, they are unlikely that India will ever join it. So looking at its own interest, India has made that India will not join this particular project. As the situation unfolds, by later we will see how this particular issue goes. But for now, that's all that I wanted to discuss. Thank you.